Hello and welcome to Crossroad Clarity. I don't know about you, but what is going on in the world these days? And I do have a question I want to understand. Yeah, the love will save the world. I do have a question I want to understand. What is happening in the moment in the world? Are we entering a new cycle? What is going to happen with the Middle East conflict, and is it going to escalate or move towards peace? So I'm going to pull out 5 cards. The first card will be the current situation and the global energy. The second will be the hidden forces behind. The third one will be the catalysis of change. The fourth one will be the direction of the shift. And the fifth one will be the outcome. What humanity must learn. Stay tuned with me as we're going deeper with the tarot. Circular edition of tarot. I'm going to read the cards upright today and because I want straightforward answers and I want the energy to fully come towards us. Okay, so now starting the first card, the current global energy. Hidden forces. The catalyst of change. The direction of the shift. And the last one will be the outcome. Let's look at this, and then if we decide, I'm going to pull more cards later. Let's start with the first one. Well, just a disclaimer. When exploring a question as complex as the future of the regional conflict, the tarot does not describe events in a literal or predictive military sense. Just wanted to make sure you understand that. It reveals the deeper energetic currents shaping human decisions, motivations, and pressures. In these spreads, the card form a very unusual emotional pattern, with 3 cups appearing consecutively. Cups are the shift of emotion, diplomacy, moral influence, and relationship dynamics. This already suggests that the heart of the conflict may not lie only in weapons or strategy, but in a complex emotional and relational forces driving leaders and population. So the 2 of Cups represents the current situation. This card is fundamentally about relationship. As you can see, it reflects 2 sides facing one another in a mirror dynamic. In the context of the conflict, it often appears when opposing forces are locked in a tense balance where both sides recognize each other's presence and influence. It is not a card of isolation or unilateral action. Instead, it suggests that even while conflict or hostility may exist on the surface, there remains a form of connection between the sides involved. This connection can manifest as negotiation, indirect communication, diplomatic channels, or even the awareness that neither side can act without affecting the other. 2 of Cups indicates that the situation is relational and reciprocal. Every move by one side is immediately reflected in the response of the other. In the position representing the forces pushing the conflict forward is the Queen of Cups. This is a fascinating placement because The Queen of Cups does not rule through aggression. She represents emotional influence, compassion, sensitivity, the deep awareness of suffering when appearing in a geopolitical context. This card often points towards the emotional climate surrounding the conflict. Humanitarian concerns, grief, outrage, fear, public sentiment can all play a powerful role in shaping decisions. Leaders may find themselves under intense pressure from the emotional reflection of their decisions. Also, from the moral narrative circulating in the media or from the broader humanitarian consequences of violence. The Queen of Cups suggests that emotional currents are intensifying the situation rather than cold strategic calculations alone. The conflict is also being shaped by feelings, empathy, pain, and psychological weight carried by either societies. In the positions of the forces that could move the situation towards peace is the Knight of Cups. This card represents movements through a message, persuasion, and diplomacy. The Knight of Cups is often described as the messenger of ideals, the one who carries an offer or an invitation. In a political global reading, this can symbolize diplomatic envoys, peace proposals, mediators, or attempts to bridge oppositions through negotiations. The Knight of Cups does not arrive with weapons. He arrived with a message. His presence suggests that there are individuals or groups attempting to soften tension and open dialogue. This card can also represent symbolic gesture, negotiation behind closed doors, or leaders who attempt to appeal to higher principles rather than continued confrontation. While the Queen of Cups here showed the emotional pressure surrounding the conflict, the Nine of Cups suggests that some actors are trying to channel the emotional awareness into diplomacy. The turning point of the situation is the Nine of Wands, a card that carries the atmosphere of endurance and prolonged struggle. This card depicts someone who has fought many battles and now stands tired but still determined to remain standing. In a conflict reading, this Nine of Wands often indicates a stage where exhaustion begins to influence decisions. Resources, patience, resilience are stretched. The cost of continuing becomes increasingly visible. This does not necessarily mean immediate surrender or peace. Rather, it reflects a defensive posture where both sides become cautious, protective, or aware of their limits. The Nine of Wands suggests that the conflict may reach a point where persistence replaces escalation. Instead of expanding aggressively, the energy shifts towards holding positions, protecting boundaries to avoid a total collapse. And my dear friends, the last card, the Moon, represents psychological passage. It suggests a period where fear, imagination, and uncertainty influences the perceptions. People may struggle to distinguish truth from narrative, as what is happening at the moment in the media. This card rarely points to a clear and immediate resolution. Instead, it suggests that the situation may move into a phase where tension remains present, but the deeper truth of the events remain partially hidden. Taken together, this spread presents a nuanced picture. The conflict does not appear driven purely by aggressive expansion or unstoppable escalation. Instead, the cards show a complex web of relational dynamic, emotional pressure, diplomatic attempts, and the growing fatigue. There are forces pushing the situations towards dialogue and mediation, but at the same time, the environment remains uncertain and obscured by a lot of hidden factors. The Three Cups card appearing together emphasize the power and the role of the emotion, the diplomacy and the human response in shaping these events. The Nine of Wands shows the weight of endurance. And after repeated strains, and the Moon suggests that the next phase of this conflict may unfold in a space where the full truth is difficult to see clearly. Rather than pointing toward decisive victory or immediate peace, this card describes a transitional phase. Diplomatic currents exist at the moment alongside emotional pressure and defensive resilience, while the deeper forces guiding the situation remains partially concealed. The outcome may therefore be neither sudden escalation nor complete resolution, but a movement into a more complex stage where negotiations are present, and there is also a lot of hidden developments that are continue to shape the path forward. I don't see a lot of clarity, and I'm not very happy about the Moon card because it is showing a lot of uncertainty, a lot of lies. There is no clarity in the cards, and exhaustion, not only emotional, not only emotional power, but also not only a lot of emotions involved and a lot of physical exhaustion, but also psychological psychological exhaustion as well, mental fatigue in this war. I'm going to pull one more card just for clarity, and I hope I'm going to have a better luck, or we are all going to have a better luck in understanding. I'm sorry, this. Let's see, what is one more card for clarity of this situation? Where is this conflict going? Whew, that is not a bad card. The good news is that the Knight of Pentacles is the most stable and slow-moving knight in the tarot. Unlike the Knight of Swords, who is rushing into battle, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles is very, very slow. He wants to stop the conflicts. He's the one who is patient. He's the one who is very careful. The other knight, which was the Knight of Wands, he's the one who wants to escalate conflicts. But here we see careful strategy, long-term planning, paced, cautious, persistent, without dramatic actions. When this card clarifies the Moon, it suggests that although the situations appear uncertain and confusion is on the surface, there are very deliberate, controlled action taking place behind the scene. This knight does not move impulsively. He moves with calculations. And while this clarifier shows energy shift from uncertainty and chaos towards slow, controlled stabilization, the Moon still indicates that the public may not see the full truth of the situation. However, the Knight of Pentacles suggests that behind this fog of uncertainty, powerful actors are working slowly and methodically to manage the situation. The Knight represents a strategy that unfolds step by step rather than through dramatic announcements. What this suggests about the conflict? The cards together describe the process that may look confusing or tense from the outside, yet underneath there are efforts aimed to preventing uncontrolled escalation. I like that. A Knight of Pentacles appears when a situation moves towards containment rather than expansion. So there is cautious diplomacy. We have it all along. Lots of emotions here, but now it is more cautious, more stable. And also, with the Knight of Pentacles, indicates that while the situation may appear unstable, there are careful efforts done behind the scenes. The path forward may not be dramatic or immediately visible, but it is likely to unfold gradually through deliberate steps taken by those working quietly behind the scenes within the shadow of this very unpleasant situation. So I'm now a little bit more positive about this reading, and I'm really happy to see the Knight of Pentacles together with all of those cards. Thank you very much for staying in with me. Let me know what you think.